Da 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 da.
Anyone think we were sponsored by
We're
Eat
not.
Real Lentil Chips? But we're not. We just eat lots of Eat Real Lentil
To be
Chips.
fair, we do only tend to eat them at 6 p.m. on a Sunday. these
Well, you
days.
speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, you only bring them over at 6 p.m. when you come over here for SIBC. I've got Sid pouring at me because he thinks we're
I
eating
know.
snacks without him.
I'm not the only one that eats them, though. Nancy's waiting. Come on, break open the crisp. Break
Snack
open.
time.
Yeah, go on. Get one out for the Nance.
There you go, sweetie.
Oh, turning her
No.
nose up. Oh, I
She's
don't
a bit
believe
picky
it.
with her food, this one.
I don't believe it. Well,
Sydney.
tell you what, I'll eat it for you, Nancy.
Mm.
Hello,
Oh!
and welcome to our South Isolated Bird Club Sunday evening, somewhere near 6 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we won't be munching the whole time. It's just, it's a nice SIBC treat, our lentil chips.
All I can say is if you haven't tried the Eat Real Lentil Chips yet, you really should.
Do you know what, my nan, right?
No.
I love my nan. I was on the phone with her the other day, and she was very upset because she was going around all the supermarkets to try and get a packet.
Right.
Couldn't find them anywhere. So I reckon people were just flooding in to buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because they're vegan.
And they're very good.
Vegan chips.
Nan, I hope you've got some. I hope you've got a packet right next to you. I know you'll be watching.
Yeah.
So I hope you're
No one's going to believe we're not
sponsored.
sponsored. We just keep spending significant sums of money.
All our money's on
You know,
lentil chips.
if anyone comes back having gone out shopping and they don't bring 10 packets of those back,
Yeah, you get told off.
you get told
Yeah.
off.
All our kitchen cupboards, forget any other condiments or anything, it's all packed full of lentil. Anyway, we go on about this, don't we? You're probably bored to death of
Yeah, let's
this.
go back to that webcam.
Yeah, let's go back to the actual
Webcam.
animals.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, look,
Blue jay.
Blue jay.
On the right, and a northern cardinal,
Flew
male.
off.
But look at that.
Beautiful.
Springs.
I like a blue jay.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I like the colour.
A bit complicated for me.
No, you know what? You've
White
seen
on the
it, you know,
white on the wingtips.
Oh, look, there we go.
There's female northern cardinal there. Look.
Slightly more paler than the
Great
red.
webcam though, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, it's a bit rain. I mean, you say spring is on the way there. I know the snow is retreated quite significantly.
Well, there is still. You can still see
Yeah,
some snow.
a bit of snow, but it has gone back, hasn't it, quite a lot? It has
Yeah.
melted, but it does look quite rainy.
Oh, look,
starlight.
European starling,
Yeah.
non-native species, introduced to North America. Look at that. Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to put Nancy down because I think that's a house finch that's turned up, but I can't see, so I'm going to have to put her down. Let me have a little look at that there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's another female.
Female cardinal.
Oh, and a male northern cardinal. It's all happening
Quite rare.
there, isn't it?
Look at all that activity.
Now, one of the American sparrows flew in then, but the difference between the North America and the UK is that they have an enormous number of sparrows. In the UK, we've got obviously we've got the house sparrow and the tree sparrow, which are relatives, and we've got the hedge sparrow, which isn't related to them. It's an assenter rather than a sparrow. We just call it a hedge sparrow, or more perhaps more probably dunner. But over in the United States, they've got masses of sparrows.
Yeah, they're all over the place, aren't they?
Loads of them, and they're really. And in winter, when the males aren't in their breeding plumage, they are devils to tell apart. I was once in Texas. Went out there for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks actually. Hired a car. Went to the Alamo.
Back in the day.
Oh, eh?
Back in my day.
I was pretty depressed actually. So I thought
Yeah.
I'm going to go and just drive around Texas on my own in the middle of winter. And
Well, just randomly, you weren't working.
no, I didn't have any work, so I just
Just go off to
went out
Texas.
there, hired a car, started driving around Texas, like I say, on my own. Went to Trinity site where they exploded the first atomic bomb. Did a little bit of Oppenheimer research.
Right.
Went to some really smart art galleries. Went to the Roscoe Chapel just outside Houston. And look, listen, this is all getting boring, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is that I spent a lot of my time trying to get to grips with the American sparrows. And they'd be all on the ground, looking brown and streaky, and then they were quite flighty, not like our ones. You know, going anywhere near them, they flew away. And I was really struggling. I'd identified about 5 or 6 species, was pretty poor. And I was at a place called Big Bend National Park, because there's a big bend in the Rio Grande there where the park is. Yeah. And there was a lady there, and she was in her 80s, and I somehow got into conversation with her, you know, and she said, turn up here tomorrow morning at first light and I'll show you how to identify the sparrows. Of course, that was an offer I couldn't refuse.
No.
So I woke up in my Scoffy motel, got in the car, went back to Big Bend Car Park, and this wonderful lady taught me basically how to identify them, mainly using the call.
Oh yeah, that's hard. It's still hard though.
It was still pretty tricky. Don't hold me to it now. I'm not sure I could still do the same.
And we'll test you next week.
North American sparrows in winter by call.
Yes.
I'm going to lose that one. That wouldn't be my chosen subject.
Would it not?
For Celebrity Mastermind. No, it certainly wouldn't. But anyway, she was a wonderful lady, and what a kind thing to do. What a wonderful gesture. I'll never forget her. I can see her now in my mind. I know exactly what she looks like. And she was drawing white car. I can remember everything about it. Marvellous. Anyway, listen, look at these northern cardinals.
They're nice, aren't they?
They're pretty fantastic, aren't they? And
male.
did you see the news this week?
Yes.
What about this? Let's have a look at it now.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Fabes, cut up the picture if you've got it of this extraordinary bird. Look at this. Now, do you know what that is? Well, it's obviously a northern cardinal, but it looks like it's been cut in half and glued back together, because on the left-hand side you've got a male, and on the right-hand side, look at that. There, you can see it more clearly in this photograph.
Female.
It's a female. Now, when I was a kid, this was known as mosaic syndrome, and you used to see it occasionally in chickens, where half the chicken would be a cockerel and the other half would be a hen. And inside the bird, this is not just on the surface. This runs right the way through the bird's body. So in this case, we believe this is what we call a Gynandrome Morph. A Gynandrome Morph is the up-to-date name for this. And it's likely that on the left-hand side of the body, this bird has a singular testicle. And on the right-hand side, it's probably got an ovary and a fallopian tube. It's an extraordinary thing.
Incredible, isn't it?
But it has been seen. I know it has been seen in this species before. And do you know why?
Go on. Why? I don't know.
Well, look, because they're so strongly sexually dimorphic.
Yes,
now, if you think that if you had a little brown jobby, imagine you had a dunnock, and it was gynandromorphic.
Tricky.
You would hardly be able to tell one half from another because the sexes are alike. But when you get a species which is so sexually dimorphic as the northern cardinal, bright red and rather mousy brown,
it's quite obvious, isn't it?
It shows up, and they've seen them in this area before. It could even be the same bird. The guy who found it reckoned it could be the same bird. Could have survived for a few years.
Yeah, they do live that long.
But look, it's in adult plumage.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
So it's surviving.
I wonder, you know, how if it ever attracts the attention from another individual, based on which side it's facing.
It's funny you should say that, because in Chris Packham's Animal Einsteins, BBC Two later this evening, 8 o'clock.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether it's in tonight's programme, but we look at a cuttlefish which actively chooses to disguise itself by appearing to be half male and half female.
I've seen that.
Just like this, seriously, but it has a choice. It can stop it. So essentially, it's a male cuttlefish, and it dresses up as a male on one side, and then it mimics a female on the other side. So it's able to sneak under another male cuttlefish, which is mate guarding a female. So that male thinks, whoopee do, I've got two females.
Yeah, I've got two females.
But when it's under the larger cuttlefish, what it does then it does one half of its body to a male to attract the female that's being mate guarded by the larger male, and then it mates with it.
It's very naughty, isn't it?
Sneaky.
These sneaky animals.
So it pretends to be gynandromorphic, the cuttlefish. That may well be on BBC Two later tonight at 8 o'clock. Who knows?
To watch.
Right.
Anyway,
it was a good start.
That was a good start. Hello, everyone. Lots of people saying hello. So we've got Sarah from Vermont, Tina from Diss, Ian from North Herts, Debbie Essex, Sharon. We've got Mandy, Alsue. We've got Crazy Caterpillar, Andy and Heather from Nottinghamshire. They have lentil chips and G&Ts at the ready.
G&T, we're short of something.
We're sort of G&T, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm not drinking, so.
You're not drinking? I might have to go make a G&T in a bit. Yeah. Now you've tempted my taste buds. We've got Camilla, we've got Sue, and finally 7-year-old Oceana. Very excited to hear from Paul. Her dream is to work with cheetahs. That brings us very much nicely on, doesn't it?
Because well, it does, because
in a minute,
go on.
We've got the wonderful Paul Goldstein coming up live. He's currently in Kenya.
Yep.
In a pretty remarkable spot.
Yeah, he is. He's at Kachechi in one of the Mara conservancies, which are bodies. Paul will tell us all about it in a moment, but they're parcels of land around the Masai Mara National Park, but they are of a different order of magnitude.
Yeah.
I mean, just so rammed with wildlife, absolutely heaving. The density and diversity is frankly astonishing.
It's good, isn't it?
It's astonishing. He's very, very fortunate to be there.
About it.
He's sent us some photographs. We're going to be having a laugh. Oh, sorry, look at those.
We've known Paul for a very, very, very long time. I've known Paul since I was Diddy, absolutely tiny. He's a very good family friend, and Chris and Paul are incredibly mean to one another about their photographs. So I can guarantee you that tonight will be nothing short of entertaining, because when you put the two of them together, it's honestly like two atomic bombs, isn't it? Really, a lot of the time.
Can be. But I've got to tell you, I'm not sure he's going to show us all of them tonight, but he's been out there for a little while, and he did send me a photograph the other day, which I've got to say is
he's got some good ones.
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
Some good ones. That's rare, so for you.
I know. Paul has taken some outstanding photographs,
he's a brilliant photographer.
And he's taken 3. no, he's taken more than 3. But he has recently. He's been hitting some fine form. Anyway, we're going to look at those in a bit. We've also got Green-fingered George.
Green-fingered George. Yeah, he's a fantastic young man. He's very green-fingered, as his nickname might suggest. But he's got an amazing video to show us.
He's out and about.
Yeah, he's out and about showing
his garden.
The importance of getting out and connecting with nature in your local green space. And it's a beautiful film. He's a fantastic
it's very well
young
made,
presenter.
Actually, the film.
He is, and he is so natural to watch. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is. He's a very good presenter.
He's very good.
Did it with his mate, and I have to say, it's pretty slick.
It's very slick. It's really good. So that'll be coming up. We'll be hearing from George.
Really good.
But look at this. This is an image that was sent in to us of some gold crests. Have a look at this.
This is John Walters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here we are. Look at that. Roosting
fluff balls
and huddling. They look like long-tailed tits.
Yeah, they do. They look like something like what we see from that.
Now, John Walters is, I have to say, do you know, we've never met, actually,
No.
which is a shame. But he is one of the best naturalists online. There's no doubt the best naturalist in real life as well.
Yeah.
But his online output is astonishing. His breadth of knowledge is phenomenal. Everything from invertebrates, he's really good on his insects, wasps and bees and stuff, right the way through to his birds. Amazing. He has frequently documented long-tailed tits roosting together like that.
I think I've seen some of his long-tailed tit stuff, actually.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you don't follow him, you'll find him on Twitter, and I really strongly suggest you do, because he posts really regularly. He paints as well. He's a bit of a polymath.
All-rounder.
Yeah, polymath. And but yeah, interesting to see the goldcrest. Well, you would predict that, wouldn't you? Because they are our smallest bird, and it has been chilly recently. So snuggling together to conserve some body heat.
Yeah. Why not? Exactly. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Wrens do it.
Yeah.
Wrens will go into bird boxes. There was that case, wasn't there? I remember Martin Hughes Games talking about it on one of the watches years ago, where they do it habitually. Once they start going into a bird box, they continue to do it.
Yeah.
And I think there was like 50 wrens in one bird box.
God, that's a lot, isn't it? I remember that. It was a record, wasn't it?
Packed in. I mean, if you were the first one in and you were at the bottom all night, I mean, France, imagine you'd eaten a few too many spiders and you wanted to just nip out to, use the loo. You'd never get past the other 49
Well, maybe it's like
wrens.
a penguin. Maybe they go like circular motion,
Oh, yeah.
A huddle situation,
Huddle.
Where you kind of take turns on the bottom. I mean, you couldn't stay there down night. You get all suffocated, so they must constantly.
Well, you say that, but I mean, I bet you the respiration rate drops down. I bet you. I'm not saying they use torpor, like the hummingbirds or anything like that. We talked about that last week, weren't we? But I'm not saying that. But I bet you they're not fully respiring. I bet they shut themselves down a little bit.
Yeah, but still, you get pretty squashed.
50 wrens in a tit box.
Anyway, but that's not the only activity.
Goldcrests don't do it. Sorry, I'll keep interrupting. But as far as we know, I've never read an account of goldcrests going into a box like that. So maybe huddling out in the trees is what they do.
Maybe.
And it's
she's a bit needy. Not very sweet. It's noodle. But of course, there's been lots of other activity as well. Now, have a look at this. This is a dissection of an owl pellet. This was sent in to us by Dennis Strenton. Have a look at that. Okay. I like an owl pellet.
Yes. Nothing finer. So this is going through the process. Now, Dennis is using the wet method. There, he soaked that, you see, in a saucer. And then he's probably using a mounted needle or some other tool. Maybe if you haven't got a mounted needle, you could use a cocktail stick to prise it all apart and remove the skulls. And there you can see there, look, all of those rodent skulls across the middle, all of those rodents. And their hip girdles there, and their femurs behind by the looks of it. And if you, obviously, if you flip them over and look at their teeth, the pattern of their teeth, then you can tell whether they're a bank vole or a field vole.
Coloration as well.
Yeah, coloration. And also, if you remove the teeth of those that are mice using a pair of tweezers, the pattern of roots will tell you which species of mouse it is. So when you get a skull out of that, it's pretty easy actually with a bit of practice to be able to, even using your naked eye, although a magnifying glass helps, and a pair of tweezers, you can identify exactly which species of rodent, or if it's a shrew, insectivore, that the owl has been eating.
Nice, isn't it?
And I've said this before, but I might as well say it again.
Go on, you
used to do this
with
John Buckley, my biology master. We used to go out once a month and collect barn owl pellets, and we'd take them back and we'd sit down. I think it was Multicoloured Swap Shop would be on TV. We'd have the sound down, obviously. And my mum would bring donuts and despair because we wouldn't wash our hands. We'd just be, tucking into the donuts with our dirty owl pellet fingers. And anyway, I found a dormouse skull one week, and I sort of thought, that's it.
Jackpot.
The pupil has outdone the master.
The
pupil has outdone the master, John. Anyway, he was a bit miffed, I expect. And the following week, following month, he's fumbling through an owl pellet, and he found a bat.
Oh, I know. You know what? Don't challenge the master.
No, I know. It took me a long time. I'm not saying I've even got beyond John Buckley. Actually, still a master, still a great, brilliant naturalist. Yeah. Yes. There's always more to learn, isn't there?
Yes. Well, should we go on to the quiz?
The quiz. Okay. So we've got Paul Goldstein live from Kenya tonight. So here's the quiz. I thought I'd bring in a little bit of a Kenyan relic. I picked this up in Kenya, and obviously you can see it's a horn, and so that means it's not like an antler. It's not shed. It stays on a bony core, which is inside here. And so, as a consequence of this, I can tell you that this animal has been predated, obviously, and this would have been equally obviously one of a pair on top of the head of the animal like that. But something has killed it and crunched it off, and it left the horn on the ground. I couldn't resist picking it up. It's lovely. Feels great. You feel that?
Yeah,
you sort of stroke the horn.
Yeah,
like
it does
that.
feel nice. It goes quite rough and then quite soft.
Perfect. Absolutely brilliant. So what do you think that is? Which species do you think that is? And that came from the plains of Kenya.
So let us know. We'll get back to that at the end.
There we are. Okay.
Right, without further ado, I think.
Well, Paul's going to introduce himself using a video, so we get to see where he is. He's made us a little film. So let's take a look at Paul Goldstein's film, which he's made out in the Mara Conservancy at his Kachechi camp. Here he is.
My name is Paul Goldstein. I live in SW19, but the fabled grasslands and forests behind me are where I call home. Here in the heart of the Masai Mara Conservancies, there is no finer place to view cats, being the only area in Africa with a growing lion population. I've guided all over the world and probably have over 1,000 game drives under my belt here, but I feel virginal compared to some of my Maasai guides. These seasoned sorcerers work here in the Mara Conservancies, these fertile, priceless parcels of land where both stakeholders and animals benefit. Off-road driving is permitted, in fact encouraged, and vehicle limits are strictly controlled. Sadly, that isn't a problem right now because we're lacking tourists. Still a few people are making it out. They're jumping through the hoops to get here, but goodness me, we need more. I must thank all those extraordinarily generous people who've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep their favourite backyards in top condition. Why do people make this journey? Why do they return year after year for their faunal fix? I'll show you why. This is unfenced, uncensored, unadulterated wilderness. The animals are missing you, as are we. Many four-legged patrons return year after year, as they have done for millennia, they gallop in well-trodden travel corridors. There is no quarantine. They don't need visas. They don't need social distancing, lockdown, or indeed isolation. They will be here on your return. I sincerely hope it is soon. And as for the lions, they keep eating out to help out.
Yeah, I know.
I've got itchy feet.
I've had the great privilege of being there, and I've got to tell you, nothing holds a torch to it.
You know, you came back. You said that, didn't you, when you came back? Because we've been quite lucky to go to lots of places in Africa. But you said there's nowhere else.
I mean, I've been to some places and seen, things that I didn't see at Kachechi. But the fact of the matter is, every time you go out, it's just wildlife everywhere. It's absolutely rammed. It's more leopards than you could shake a stick at. No, you wouldn't shake a stick at a leopard.
I wouldn't recommend it.
That's not polite.
It's not
or
polite.
Sensible.
But
honestly,
leopards won't hit that.
It is leopard-tastic. It's pretty everything-tastic, actually. Anyway, we're very pleased to tell us how tastic it is now. We've got the Mr. Tastic, Paul Goldstein. Paul, good evening.
Good evening, Chris. Evening, Megs. Good to see you. So I'm, it's 3 hours ahead here. I've just had a sumptuous meal, and my laptop won't be able to pick up the lions and hyenas and jackals keening in the background. But yeah, it's good to be with you. And this was going to be a sort of 2 or 3 week long trip, and it's turned out a lot longer. We still have a few tourists trickling through, jumping through any number of, I suppose, bureaucratic hoops to get here. But yeah, we're doing our best. But I would be lying if I said it was anything other than tough at the moment. It is for travel everywhere. It's been a bloodbath. Oh, here's Kennedy. Look at that on time. Kennedy, come into the screen here. Chris, you remember Kennedy?
Hello, Kennedy.
Here's Ken. You see, he's behaving with his face mark. He's fine. He's just brought me my ethically sourced Mapani juice, as you know. So yeah, it is tough, but it's still, I suppose, some would say.
But listen, you have skipped the UK winter by getting stuck in Kenya, as it were. There were worse places to be stuck than the fabulous, Mara conservancies. Paul, for those people that don't know what the conservancies are, just give us a quick breakdown as to what they are, as opposed to the Mara National Park.
The Mara Reserve is controlled by the council, essentially the government. So it can be a little bit of a free-for-all. I mean, it's still the fabled contiguous park with the Tanzania Serengeti. The conservancies are where you have 350 acres per guest. You have limits on vehicles. You have off-road driving, but critically, they're ecologically sound. The landholder, the stakeholders and landowners all benefit. So everybody benefits, including the animals. So it's also the fees you pay to be here are audited several times a year. So we really know where every penny is going, which isn't something which I wish it was widespread across the whole continent, but it just isn't. So we have, everybody has skin in it, really, I suppose is the best way to put it.
But there were lots of human-centric projects, because when I was out there, we went to see one where there was a water collection point, which was saving people enormous amounts of time and energy collecting water every day. There's another group that's set up to make, I was going to say, sort of tourist trinkets, but they're far from that. They're beautiful works of art, which people...
Yes, they are.
And they're locally made. Which, by the way, you owe me a couple of dog leads, by the way.
Dog collars, I think they were.
Dog leads and collars. Don't try and get out. Anyway,
what was that?
Well, they make these beautiful beaded dog leads and collars.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fact was that they were made out of leather, and in a rather impetuous way, I was saying to the ladies that were making them, would you do me so if I sent you some nylon leads, would you bead the nylon for me so it wasn't leather? Anyway, I think that's going to happen. And look, we've digressed. Look, Paul, tell us about what you've been up to, because you've been taking some stonking photographs.
Well, I suppose it's all a big juggling act. What we haven't done is closed down and and wave the white flag, which I suppose in some ways is understandable, but we have such an interest, and I've said a lot of skin in this conservancy and the other three adjoining here. I've been guiding almost every day, not the big groups like when you were here, but a few people here and there who they keep extending their safaris, and we like them very, very much for that. You know, no check too large, frankly, for those, because as you can imagine, it's the numbers that you have seen when you came 18 months ago just aren't here. And this has huge ramifications for animals, huge ramifications for people. If you think of the millions of people tied up with tourism and wildlife here, things like isolation and quarantine and all of those things, these may be just, I suppose, catchphrases used by the UK government and others to sort of deflect from the appalling incompetence of a year ago. But actually, they had vast damaging effects for wildlife here, because wildlife needs tourists. They absolutely do. Number one, because of their policing eyes. Number two, because of the currency. Who do you think pays the bills? You know, what pays the bills for the rangers? What pays the bills for the park wardens? What pays the bills for I don't know, but the roads and all of the dams that are built? It's critical that we get tourists back here quickly. But there's a lot of heroes, as you know, not just with large signature species. There's a lot of heroes who are doing their very best, and I consider some of the guides you've worked with here amongst that coterie. So yeah, it's tough, but the wildlife's still here. They don't know anything about coronavirus. You know, they don't know anything about social distancing either. So, you know, they're doing their best for us, but we have to do our best for them as well. And I hope Mr. Chaps is perhaps tuning into this.
Okay, talk us through some of the pictures, Paul, you've sent us. Yeah, you've got a whole range of them that you've sent over.
You've certainly been enticing your tourists.
Okay, that's that one's that's a helicopter. You know, when they take the doors off, that's over Lake Natron. Or that's actually Magadi, very close to the Tanzania border. I think something like that, you know, I'd like to say piously, I waited till it formed this extraordinary ethereal shape. I didn't. I pointed the camera down and I pressed the shutter. And this is as some of them are taking off and some of them aren't. And yeah, that's probably even on full automatic setting, a little underexposed.
So these are lesser flamingo.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of graters amongst them. And actually that's taken in the morning, and in the afternoon, you can get these extraordinary colors as the sun really beats down on the shallow waters and the silt starts. It's almost multicolored, almost rainbow-like colors. But for me, frankly, it's flying over the Rift Valley down into that lake is just, and it's extraordinary.
Okay, it looks like Saturn, doesn't it?
It does.
When I saw this,
yeah.
It looked like Saturn to me. A Saturn
yes.
Of flamingos.
Okay. I'm scoring that one. I'm going to give that 1.2. 1.2? 1.2, yeah. 1.
Out of 10. Out of 10.
Next up.
Out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10.
I'm absolutely crushed.
I'd give that 6, Paul. I'd give it 6.
Thank you, Megs. Thank you.
Anytime. And then.
Oh. Look at the sky.
Yeah.
Look at the
well,
sky.
I know. And that's, let's be clear, that's unprocessed. You can't start processing stuff like that. Well, I can't anyway, because you get all sorts of noise. That is a leopard you're familiar with. It's probably the greatest leopard that I don't know. If I've spent 4 months of my life with this animal, there are Kichechi guides here who've probably spent 4 years. And it's one of those things. Are you really going to climb that tree? Is that storm really going to brood and build into that sort of angry color behind, that brooding color behind? And she just lay there for an hour. And yeah, you know, underexposed a little bit. That's all it needs. It was extraordinary. And what will interest you, Chris, is about 18 months ago, you had I suppose a tryst with that animal's daughter. Do you remember? It was asleep up that tree, and you told a dreadful joke, and at the punchline, it woke up.
Yes, that's right.
Favorite memories.
Right.
Not such a dramatic tree. I'm keen on the branch in her middle, but yeah, that was a great moment.
I was scoring that one 3.8.
Oh, you see, improvement. You can't halt progress ever.
Yeah, I'd say 7.5.
7.5.
Oh my, Megan, you may have started a little too generously there.
No, see, I'm a nice human. You know, I like. It's got a leopard in it. I haven't seen good photos of leopard for a long time.
Beautiful light, languid leopard up a tree. Oh my
I think
goodness.
I miss Africa so much that I'm just going to love them all.
Is that another hint, Megan?
Yeah, it's another hint that I'll be.
Yeah, I thought it was a very badly disguised, if I may say.
Yeah, no, I'm not being subtle about it, Paul. I'll come and visit you when I can.
No, not at all.
Okay, next up then.
Yeah, this was these are 5 boys. You saw them briefly and you said I've had quite enough of too many vehicles, and I was with you that evening. But these ones, we picked the position and there was a lot of water, and they chased down this. You probably can't. Can you tell what they're feeding on, Chris? There we go. Both of you.
Look at that. It's got a short horn at the top. We can't.
Oh yeah, you don't like, as opposed to your much longer horn earlier.
Yes. So it's got a short horn and it's got no stripes on its side, so it's quite plain. So no, because it would be stripy. I'm saying it could be one of those topy or something like that. No?
Well, I think I'll go with the second part of your answer, something like that. It's a hearty beast, a Congolese.
Okay, yes, well, all right, close to topy.
Yeah, I'll give you 1.8 out of 10 for topy. So you get, and they took this subadult and they actually hit it in water. There was this huge explosion. I wish I could show you the photo there, but the bush. And so what we did is Charles and James, we drove down and we positioned ourselves where there was a bit of dry ground, and they did the right thing. They dragged the carcass right next to us because it was dry. And then that's not a drone. Game of drones is not for me with photography. It just isn't. So that's just stood up on the seat and with a very wide angle, underexposed, going straight down before they absolutely butchered the carcass. The photo got too visceral for this watershed.
Do you like it? I'd make it square though.
Okay. All right, I can live with that.
It's not quite symmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, they don't oblige with that. You're right though.
Give it 8.
Yeah, I like that.
No, I'm sticking.
8.
I'm sticking with 3.8 for that one.
Still, so okay, so there's no inflation. Okay, well I did put, yeah, you've got to have a soft and cuddly one. I'm glad to say this cub is still alive. It's one of 4, and it's getting. If you notice behind the shot, Chris, you'll just say it's distraction and clutter and how much you hate all of that, but. You'll see the way that subadult is looking at it. It's because that subadult's just given that poor little cub of about 7 weeks an almighty shoeing, and it is suffering, but it somehow has pulled through. It looks to be the runt of the litter, but it's a very successful pride in the Boisho Conservancy, and that was just a moment where I think it had been given such a kicking. It was just grumpy with everything and everyone. They'd fed on a zebra about 3 hours before. So you eat that much, I think you get pretty grumpy anyway. I just wanted to catch that moment. And the little bit of clear green between the 2 muzzles is what I was after. There is a bit of clutter. You won't like the tree on the right-hand side. You probably won't even like the ground. In fact, there's probably nothing you like about it at all, frankly.
Yeah, I'm giving that one, I'm giving that one 1.6.
I give it about 3.
Oh dear. Okay. So I try and put a soppy one in, trying to appeal.
I like the positions of the head.
Okay. All right, we'll move on then.
Right, next up. All classic.
Iconic. It's one of those.
Yes.
Dramatic.
Yeah, this is we don't see too many of these, and these are the great survivors. It's like the sort of 40 or 45 rhino in the Masai Mara. And when you see an elephant like this, I don't know about you, I find it, I'm in fact, Chris, you know Wayne Hansen very well, the extraordinary conservationist from Namibia. And he was with me when we once saw a 3-horned rhino in the Masai Mara. And we were both speechless, not so much the fact that it's worth, I don't know, just if you compare its horn against cocaine prices, but it's just the value of it. But also these are such survivors. That's probably a 50-year-old elephant. Look at that ivory. Those tusks might be 40 kilos each, and it has somehow survived. And this was the classic case. People say, oh, how long did you wait for that shot? Well, you don't just come across that. It was about 5:15. I said, we're just going to stick with this. I was guiding 2 photographers. We're just going to stick with this elephant. I think we might get a good sunset. And digital format's not great for sunsets because you often just get that white blob. So we actually got out of the vehicle. We stayed inside the sort of parameters of the vehicle, but we needed to be on foot, needed to be low, and that's just a bit underexposed. And there was just this moment that it dropped its horns. Now, initially, I thought it would be good to have the orb actually over the horns, but actually I prefer it. It almost looks it's doing sort of keepy uppy with the sun with tusks. So yeah, it's a good moment, and you don't need all of the elephant in with big animals as long as it's a big bold crop. You know, everyone knows it's an elephant. It would the sun setting is that final sort of pastel color before it drops is really the point of the picture.
Yeah. Okay, it's stunning. I'm not so keen on the grass on the right hand side, so I'm going to give it a 4.8.
4.8.
I didn't mind the grass because it kind of outlines the shape of the sun.
Okay.
Going up a bit. So I would give it a 6.
6.
A 6. All right. Okay, this great survivor, this extraordinary animal that has trawled and truffled its way over the plains of Africa, that has somehow avoided the poacher's bullet, that it hasn't left its wanton carcass on the plains, its horns, I suppose, devoured by the despicable and insidious Chinese market, and you give it a 6.
Yeah, no, well, that was your photograph, not the elephant.
No, not the elephant. The elephant's a 10 out of 10. I mean,
the elephant's getting 10.
It's kind of facing the wrong direction, Paul. It's kind of walking off in the opposite.
Yeah, you are right. It's oblique. Yes, it loses 4 points for its obliqueness.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, we've got time for a couple more. Let's have the next one up. Abstract elephant.
Yeah, I like that. Is it raining or is it just?
Yeah, that was the point of the photograph, Megan. I took it. This is a very tolerant bull. This is right next to bush camp. And it was about, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and this storm just rolled in. It was blazing hot. And then 5 minutes later, I suppose, visibility of about 50 meters. And we found this tolerant old bull, not quite as old as the previous one. And there's just a particular angle where you get the sun coming in, you go right in on the head. And I took that at about an 80th of a second to lengthen the rain a bit. It's, I don't know, it's the sort of, what do they call it? The roomy old eye. But if you notice, it's got the little flecks of water just off the eyelashes, which kind of draw me in a little bit. And I've really enjoyed it in the rains and the storms, photographing elephants. It's been wonderful. It has.
Yeah. Okay. I rather like that one because I like the texture.
Oh, here we go.
I like the texture.
Oh, stop it. Come on.
And as a consequence, I'm giving that one a 6.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, no, I love all the light playing across the creases of the skin. I like the rain cascading down.
It's more crenulations, isn't it?
Yeah, I like a crenulated skin. Right.
Okay, 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
You see, that's more like it.
Well, out of those which you sent us, have you got one that you'd particularly like to show us to wrap up?
I don't know what you have in the vault there. I don't know, but actually, Fabian, have you got the one of the kingfisher, Fabian? You mentioned. Yes. Let me bring this one up. Yeah. If you bring now this one, there's a lot going on here. Because Chris, don't you hate it when you go out with a specific intention to photograph a bird? All right, and there are few more colourful than the malachite kingfisher, and you line it up on the perch. And it's looking at you. You've got the little cheeky but not impertinent catch light in its eye, and then just as you press the shutter, you get this photobombing leopard just leap into the image. It's great. So what you end up with is an out of focus. I don't know whether you've even spotted the leopard, Chris, frankly. But yeah, this was. It's a good. You've got malachite, leopard, airborne, spume, backlighting, and a bit of clutter just to annoy you, Chris. So, there's a bit going on there.
Yeah, it happened to me this afternoon. Only this afternoon was I focusing on a kingfisher and a leopard. The new forest leopard ruined me.
Yeah, you can't get a photo these days with without some kind of rosette, paw, tail, ear of some kind of feline like a leopard. It's really, they're becoming a nuisance.
Beast. He's just showing off. He was photographing a small,
I'm aware,
Gouldy bird,
I'm aware.
And a leopard busted in on the scene.
It is just as you see. Talking of busting in on the scene, the thing is, a friend of both of ours, Chris, often talks about wildlife photographs very simply, and he says a great photograph has two aspects to it. I always say a very good background followed by a very good subject, because you can have the best. I suppose, action going on in the world, an aardvark mating with a pangolin. But if the background's messy, you're still going to score it a 2. But it's just that little extra thing. And of course, I hadn't seen the malachite as it came past. But it's something that just adds a certain frisson to the photograph that just elevates it a bit. What would you score that one? There's too much clutter for you, wasn't there?
Yeah, no, it's too much clutter. The bird's too colourful. The leopard's leaping. It's just, it's chaos. Absolutely photographic chaos. I mean, it's an interesting piece of behaviour. That I'll give it a point. I'll give it 0.1 for the behaviour. It's a leopard. I'll give it another 0.8. So that's 0.9. The kingfisher soft. Obviously, that loses 0.1 or 2. So they're back down to 0.7. I mean, I'm struggling with this one. But listen,
it's a car wreck, isn't it?
It's a disaster.
I love the shape of the leopard though, and I like I mean, you just got to go back and make that moment happen again, Paul. Give it another go.
Yeah, I know, and get them both sharp. You're quite right. Yeah, no, on a biblical scale, I'm afraid.
Well, thanks. Listen, thanks for showing us these photos. I would suggest people follow you on your Instagram feed, where you put some decent photos occasionally, and of course, and also check out.
Look!
Hold on.
Look at that young chip.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Do you know what? I don't
with
cheetah cubs are the cutest of all big cats.
Yeah, they really are. As cubs, they're really something. But it is terrifically hard for them, and I'm not blaming this on COVID, and I'm not blaming it on the British Transport Secretary or the Home Secretary, like I blame everything else on, quite rightly in my eyes. But yeah, it's those cubs have a tough future. They really do. So yeah, it's very hard, and I don't mind. Oh, look at that, eh? And then you listen to these guys. Listen to this. Really kicking on. Oh.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice.
How about that asthmatic wheeze at the end? It is extraordinary, and that was, these are just taken on a regular camera or iPhone. It is extraordinary. But yeah, I think, Chris, let's finish on those cheetahs, because it's a delightful scene. But that mother only has 2 of those 4 cubs now. Nature is red in tooth and claw, and one of them was limping the other day, and that one's disappeared. Another one got killed by lions. It's tough. It really is tough for them, and they need tourists. So we can't wait for you all to come back, and I'll include you in that, Megan.
Yes. Well, honestly, I think everyone's definitely kind of ready to start exploring again once, of course, it's safe to do so. And of course, as you say, for not just the wildlife, but the communities in these places, it's so important that comes back, and that we can start supporting one another again and supporting vital conservation work in these really important biodiverse areas.
Yes.
Chris, thanks for that eulogy.
You're off to bed now then, and up at the crack of, I presume, tomorrow morning.
Yes. Oh, completely. Yes, I found a wonderful spot to photograph hippos. Do you remember that breakfast we had, Chris? And we got, frankly, too close, and we sort of lay down really low. But this is gorgeous because the sun backlights them, and they throw up a cloud of spume like a humpback. And you can lie down on the bridge. Do you remember when you arrived and there was that leopard, that very same leopard you saw lying in that culvert of that concrete bridge? Yeah. It's that same one. So that's where I'll be at yes, as you say, the crack of tomorrow morning. 3 hours. So yeah, you'll be fast asleep, won't you? But I'll still send you a couple of images to score ferociously poorly as you've done all evening. Thank you for again.
Excellent. Paul, please pass on my best wishes to everyone at the camp.
Yeah.
Look after.
Yeah, will do.
Thank you very, very much indeed for taking time out to join
Copy
us.
that, Chris.
And show us your photos. Excellent stuff. Night.
Bye.
Thanks, Megan. Copy.
Excellent stuff.
Oh, how brilliant!
What a place. Honestly, I can't tell you. It's just teeming, absolutely teeming.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's one of those places where if you just sort of went and just pointed your camera out the window, blindfolded, and pressed the shutter, by the time you got back, you probably have 3 decent pictures on it. There's just so much wildlife there. It's absolutely stiff with it, because it's so well looked after. As Paul said, low numbers of people, community working with that wildlife
Yeah.
to make sure it's looked after. Community benefits from that in so many different ways. It's a model of sustainable ecotourism, actually, which is not all like that though. Not everyone, not everywhere, but that is one. So it's a pleasure to host Paul Goldstein this evening.
Brilliant.
What are we up to now then?
Well, I need to calm down, to be honest. I think I need a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
A mindfulness moment, of course. So have a look at this. This is a bit of a dusk song chorus. This was sent in to us by Hannah Kajawa. Have a listen and relax to this. Sorry about that, we just had to fiddle around with our microphone, but we got that working again. Wasn't that nice?
Lovely.
Yeah, I like a bit of dusk chorus. Dawn chorus will start kicking in soon, won't it?
But do you know what? The last couple of days has been, down here at least in the south of England, it's been really frosty to start with. And then really lovely clear days and clear
It's been really
evening.
warm.
Birds have really been going berserk.
Yeah.
Blackbirds have started now. Missel thrushes going all the time now.
Mm.
I was out with the Sid and Nance this morning, and throughout the course of my walk, I could hear missel thrush pretty much continuously. The robins are singing.
Mm.
Obviously, they've been going for a little while. It's been absolutely
Do you know what I had
blazing.
here today?
Yeah.
Do you know what I had here?
What?
Gulls.
Yeah. Of course.
Gulls this morning. I wake up every morning to the sound of
I
gulls.
wouldn't
I
mind.
like
I
it.
like gulls.
I do. Yeah.
It's
It's
good
nice.
stuff.
Anyway.
Excellent stuff. So thank you very much, Hannah, for sending
Yes,
that in.
thank
That's
you.
much appreciated, and it certainly should be an inspiration for everyone to take just 5-10 minutes off if you get a nice clear evening like that, to go and stick your ear out the window and look at that darkening sky and listen to that increasing cacophony of birds.
Natural orchestra.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now on to our very good friend, Green Thinkered George. He is an amazing young naturalist who's got just such a wealth of knowledge for his subject, and I follow him on all different social media platforms, and every day he's always up to something new, and love following him and love the stuff that he puts out. And he's made, as we said earlier on, a very, very slick video for us today about our connection with nature and how you can engage in your local green space. So I think we should hand over to George for this one because it's pretty spectacular.
Here we go, George.
Hello, I'm George and I've lived opposite the Pennines all my life, but it's in more recent times that I found a new passion for them. For me, at the moment, the moors are the one thing that I can rely on, so today I'm going to take a walk on there. Come on, let's go. The first part of my walk takes me over the Tame River and Huddersfield Canal. Despite having an issue with plastic pollution, nature doesn't just survive here, it thrives. I regularly see sparrowhawks, dippers, kingfisher, heron and gander. Whilst in the canal, I often spot pike, carp and roach. The next section of my walk takes me through the woods. Now the great thing about hills and moorland is that they often influence the weather. Now due to their height, it often rains here, and in the valley you get lots of wetland woodland, which is home to loads of species of lichen, fungi and wildlife, such as woodcock, long-tailed tits, gold crest and roe deer. Now, school has been tough for me recently with extra pressures and changes, but the one thing that I've relied on is this. It's the one place that's kept me sane though I should say it's a place that should be respected. Peat Bog Moorland is a specialist habitat with strong winds, freezing cold temperatures in winter and boggy ground. So anything that's up here all year round has to be as strong and mighty as the hills themselves. Up on these moors and surrounding hills you get rich purple heather, stubborn bilberry, ancient withered hawthorns and gentle cotton grass. Most of the plants on moorland tend to be quite low-lying. This is to contend with the pretty much constant wind, and are adapted to live in boggy soil by growing on the sides of hills where the water tends to move away quicker. The wildlife up here is no less tough, though most of it actually migrates in the autumn, which means these old moors are quite quiet in winter. One all year round species is the mountain hare, brown in summer and it actually goes white in winter. Another all year round species is one that is surrounded in controversy, and it's the red grouse. Now there's no denying these are proper moorland birds. It's very haunting to hear their cry echoing across the moors in the fog. There are many reasons these moors are under threat. Climate change means they're burning more regularly, and driven grouse shooting is a serious problem. Now you'll have noticed that when I mentioned red grouse I said they're controversial, and it's because of the sport tied to them. The actual shooting of grouse isn't environmentally impactful, but it's the activities tied to grouse shooting that really impact the moors. The one bird I haven't mentioned is the hen harrier. And there's one reason that the phantom of the moors has never haunted this place, and it's because of a glorious sport. Right, I've reached the end of my walk for today, and just a mile over there, the RSPB are doing some incredible work in restoring the sphagnum moss. Now, this place, these moors, are an incredible area, and you can't deny that the rolling heather and bubbling streams don't take your breath away. Now, it's said that wherever your heart is your home. Not a bad place to rest, eh?
It's great.
It's a beautiful film, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so well made, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking slick.
Yeah.
Nice shots.
It's smooth.
Bit of slow-mo walking to camera there.
Yeah, with his hair. I was just saying how luscious George's hair is,
Yeah.
wasn't I? Yeah, when his slow-mo move, it was great.
I'm not keen on the slow-mo moves, actually, myself.
But you don't like any kind of slow-mo?
I'm not a slow-mo person.
I like a bit of slow-mo.
No.
You like slow-mo poodle?
I don't mind a slow-mo poodle, but I like
we
to see
haven't done slow-mo
wildlife
poodle in a while, have
and
we?
humans in real time.
No,
However,
see,
I'm
it.
not dissing the film in any way, shape or form. That was a slick piece of production. George was on top form as well.
As ever,
Yeah,
yeah.
very, very good. Passionate, keen, and talking sense. He's good, isn't he? And
he's very good.
he's called Green-fingered George, of course, if you haven't caught up with George before. And I suggest you do, as Meg said, on his social media, because he grows things in his garden, and he has a wildlife garden. He put a pond in last year, made a film. Made a film for us about that, didn't he, as well?
He did.
And it's very, 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 very good indeed. So, George, thanks ever so much. That was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much, George. You're a wonder.
Mind you, picked the right day to be up there.
Yeah, it looked beautiful,
I've
didn't
been
it?
up there, and there's been not like that.
No,
Quite
rainy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just grey.
Mm,
Just grey indeed. Okay, what are
very
we up
true.
to?
Quiz reveal, I think.
Quiz reveal.
Let's see, shall we? Who got
Okay.
it right? Just waiting to see. Oh, not many people, I don't think. Oh, here we go. We've only got a couple. Okay, so we've got Abby, Sean, Camilla, and Anise.
Okay.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Got it right. Well done, everyone. Most people, I believe, what did they say?
Impala.
Impala, I think.
I think a lot of
I
people
think
said
a lot
Impala.
of people said Impala.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you why it's not an Impala. Size and shape are the key things. Now, you might say, but it could be a small Impala. But small Impala's horns don't go into this sort of shape. Now, it's quite difficult to see the shape. So it sort of comes up, and it's got like I don't know how many curves that is, and then it goes all the way around here like that. And it would,
But close up.
Yeah, sorry. And it would, look at that. You see?
That.
And also, Impala have got that, but not as dense. The
very
crenulations
kind of-
on the Impala are not as dense. Besides which, Impala's much more robust at the base. It would be about that
Thicker.
diameter. Yeah, much thicker. This is the horn of a Thompson's gazelle, and it's one of the principal prey of Paul Goldstein's cheetahs. And in fact, I picked this up in Kachechi, where Paul was speaking from tonight, on the ground.
I like a Thompson's gazelle.
Yeah.
I do.
I like a Tommy, as they call them, little striped size.
Very sweet.
Do everything they can to get away from those cheetahs. It's a pretty even match, of course, because the gazelles are pretty fast. They need to make a mistake before the cheetah gets them. Cheetah's hit rate's notoriously low.
Yeah, they're not,
No.
they're speedy, but they can't keep up that speed for long duration. So they're short sprinters.
No, they remind me actually a bit like of dogs, in the sense that basically they see something and then they start running after it. Whereas cats, on the other hand, see something and then they stalk closer to it using guile and cunning, and then they run after it. But it's almost like cheetahs. I mean, they do a bit of stalking.
A little bit, but they're not quite as... They don't have quite the same patience as
they're not a
leopards.
leopard. I mean, a leopard will try to get within a few meters of its prey.
Yeah.
But a cheetah relies on its explosive burst of speed, and very often it gets the timing wrong.
It's true. It's true.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Birthdays?
Birthdays. Lots of people's birthdays. So today we'd like to say very happy birthday to Helen Bray, whose birthday is on the 29th of February. That's today, isn't it? She doesn't have a birthday this year because we don't get many years with the 29th.
Oh.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're actually only 13 and a quarter. That's quite funny, isn't it? 13 and a quarter.
So she's only ever had 13 and a quarter birthdays?
Yes.
Because it's
because she was born on the 29th and because it's not a leap year.
Yeah.
That's I never thought
cheap
about
for the
that before.
parents, though.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, if you were thinking about giving birth, having a child, perhaps you could sort of backdate 9 months from the 29th of February.
Calculated.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get many chances, though. You only get like a couple of chances a year, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have a couple of chances.
Well,
but
not even that.
if you tried to conceive at that point, it could save you an enormous amount in birthday presents. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. I see.
Or just, look, okay, so you could go, in terms of saving presents, obviously February the 29th. Christmas Day is another one.
No, because you get double, don't you?
No, you're right on.
Yeah, you do.
If you'd have been born, did you honestly think if you'd been born on Christmas Day, you're going to get double the number of presents?
I would hope so. But if I was born on Christmas Day, I think I'd make my birthday like a week after, and I'd just like
can't do that.
I would.
It's written down on a birth certificate.
Yeah, I know,
it's
but then my age would change, but the celebration would be delayed because
because
if it's Christmas, no one's going to care about your birthday, are they?
Exactly, that's my point.
Yeah, but that's sad.
Okay.
I like birthdays most of the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, next we've got Sally Scott, whose birthday is on the 2nd of March. Sally volunteers at Hedgehog Rescue Centre and also works tirelessly to keep North Dorset countryside free of litter in her spare time.
Top work.
Amazing, Sally. Thank you very much for that. And very happy birthday to you. Hope you're having a nice time with your hedgehogs. She's been spoilt for her birthday this year with an Owl Pellet dissection kit and a bag of lentil chips. You lucky devil, you.
Bet they're gone.
Yeah, I bet they are.
I bet they disappeared by about 8:30 this morning if she was up early.
We'd also like to wish a bit of an unconventional birthday to the Climate Action North, who's 4 years old as an organisation.
I've met the people from Climate Action North a few years ago. Yes, I was up in Newcastle, I think, and I met them. Really dynamic bunch of people. They were involved in, when they were netting and the kittiwakes were getting tangled up in that.
Yes.
They've got the finger on the pulse of lots of things up there.
Important.
And they liaise really effectively with local groups and stakeholders, as we like to call them these days. And they're doing really good things. So Climate Action North, if you're in the northeast of England, I would suggest following them.
David Jones has just commented.
Yeah.
He says, I was born on Christmas Day and I get double.
Oh, Dave, well, you're lucky because you've probably got very generous parents.
Yes, I like that.
Double.
You have to get double or just,
Or, hold on.
Go on.
Hold on. Did he get double or did he just get half and half?
No.
Did he get
No, because you'd be able to compare that then if you like to siblings or, no, double. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We've also like to say a very happy birthday to Bieber J. We've got Elizabeth Slater, Joan Grundy, and Rosie's mum Jo and stepdad Pat, whose birthdays were all last week. So very happy birthday to everyone. Hope you've had a fantastic day, able to celebrate where you can.
Happy birthday. We've also had a couple of things. Oh, go on. Go on then.
Well, I was just going to say, a friend of mine, Danny O'Connor, you might remember her. She has been on SIBC before, back in the springtime. Now, she has spent a lot of lockdown away with a group group of red squirrels, which she helped to look after a lot. Unfortunately, they're wild red squirrels. However, we believe the mum was hit by a car in a road traffic accident, and she found the youngsters. So she went and she kind of supplementary fed them and gave them a helping hand along the way and kept them wild, but also supported them. And she went viral all over social media. She went viral. She was on the news. She's had articles written because she put a microphone next to this little red squirrel, and it was munching, and it was the sweetest sound ever. And she has made a full-length film about her time with these red squirrels, so you can find that online, but she's given us the trailer for it now that we'd really love to share with you. So take it away, Danny.
My name is Danny. I'm a wildlife photographer, and I name squirrels Ghost, Chibodashka, Little One, Timo, Mama, Mojo, Dada Elf, Moomin, Remy, and this, hello baby pear, how are you, is baby pear. This is the story of how I rescued 4 baby squirrels and befriended a family of wild squirrels in northern Sweden.
The Squirrels and
The
Me.
Squirrels and Me. I have to say, she's had the best time out with those squirrels. She's an amazing photographer, Danny. She's really very, very good at what she does. And this film has been beautifully,
It's just the dogs are eating all the lentil
the
chips.
dogs are eating all the lentil chips, yeah. But Danny is incredibly talented, an amazing photographer and filmmaker. So I really do recommend that you go and watch the full film because it is a really beautiful thing. And you can find that online. If you put Danny O'Connor, Squirrels and Me, it will come up, and you can find it on her social media channels as well.
Okay. So a couple of things have been sent in here.
Yep.
I've had this letter. I've only opened these today. Ben Moore from Badersfield, if it was Douglas Bader, or it could be Bardersfield in Norfolk, has sent us a letter here, and he sent us a spare copy, look here, of the transactions of the Norfolk and Norwich Naturalist Society.
That's nice.
Which is really nice of him. And he says, I hope this finds its way to you. I found myself with some spare copies of the publications I received as being a member of my local naturalist group. I wanted to give them to you as a thank you for putting your time and effort into the SIBC. I look forward to watching every week. You always cover interesting topics and have engaging guests. I hope you've enjoyed Paul Goldstein and Green Fingered tonight, Ben. Hope you find the information in these books of interest. There's several graphs and charts too. I haven't had a chance to look yet, Ben, to be honest with you. Literally took it out of the envelope this afternoon. Thank you for all you do in educating and entertaining us and getting involved in the fight to save our wildlife. All the best, Ben. That's very nice, isn't it? Sorry, couldn't squeeze any lentil chips in the envelope.
It's all right, Ben. We'll forgive you. Thank you so much for that book. It's really nice of you to send that to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's have a little. I'm just having a little quick scan through. It's good quality, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. It's some nice photos.
Very well produced. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at it.
Yeah, hold on.
This is Chris's favourite kind of page.
I like
graphs.
Yeah, I like data illustrated.
The relationship between flow velocity and signal crayfish abundance in the intervals for both River Westram and River Blackwater sites.
Might be quite interesting.
Like that,
I might sort of immerse myself, if you'll forgive the pun. What else have we got here? Resurrection of a Norfolk pond gem. It's a grass species. Look, lichens.
The lichens.
God, this is good stuff,
Beetles.
isn't it? Beetles.
Yeah, it's good stuff in here.
It's very, very good, isn't it? Bright green leaf beetles, there's a clip beetle there, look. Yeah. Okay, better put that down as we get carried away. Also, just wanted to show you this one. This has been sent to us as well. And this is another great little publication, this one. This was sent to us by the Henfield Birdwatch, and it describes itself as citizen science at its best. You can't argue with that, because in 2009, the books that they published gained the BTO Marsh Award for the best local community conservation project. And they've self-published 5 of those books, Beast, since 1998. So in 98, 99, 2004, 2009, 14 and 19.
It's good. They've got all the birds that they found in the local area, a little bit of information about them. I like this though. This is a map This is of the parish in Henfield.
Yeah.
So a map of it all, and then it's got where you can go and find different species. So where you might find your kingfishers, or your barn owls, your lapwings.
They are fortunate
It's
though,
nice.
because
Like
it
that.
does say
Nightingale.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh.
I was about to say they've got turtle dove and nightingale there. Our ethos is to encourage local involvement so that people become more informed. Residents of Henfield, we should say Henfield is in Sussex, survey their garden birds, and during survey years they do so for the whole of 52 weeks. In non-survey years, they survey their gardens over a specific weekend in spring and autumn. Pretty good. They've got a Facebook page. Okay. So if you are anywhere in the region of Henfield in Sussex, I would suggest you take a look out. It's henfieldbirdwatch.co.uk is their website, henfieldbirdwatch.co.uk. And even if you're not, I would suggest you probably visit there. Debbie Colgate has sent us this. Thank you very much, Debbie. Because this is the sort of thing that people could aspire to. If you've got an active local community like that, even look on the back, nice piece of art. Lapwings by Will Green. There they are out in the fields. And this just goes to prove what, a dynamic, active community can do in terms of surveying the birds and putting it all together. Again, it's really well done, isn't it? Got the
I like
map.
that, isn't it?
Got the map. I'm just going to look
It's
up
good.
turtle dove, see what the situation is with turtle dove. Maybe you
Go on then.
just cover me for a minute while
Yeah.
I get to the
Well, I
turtle
just
dove.
want to talk about this comment that was sent in to us. This was from Finley, who's 13 years old, and he's watching currently. And he's just sent us a message to say that he works tirelessly around the clock to look after the badgers in his woods. And he's got 12 different cameras up watching them. That's lovely, isn't it? It's, something that we've got close to our badgers by putting in cameras and things. It's a great way to get to know them as individuals and everything. So Finley, we'd love to see some of your footage.
Yeah,
If you're getting
send
camera
it
trap
in.
stuff,
Send
send it in to us at SIBC. There'll be a link below, a little kind of an email address that you can send things into. Maybe we could show some next week if you've got any nice badger footage. We'd love to see it. Yeah,
Okay.
keep up the great work, Finley.
Turtle dove, one of Henfield's special birds. Our patch is a bit of a hotspot for this critically threatened species. The south of the parish is the stronghold in terms of the population, with 5 singing birds around Woods Mill and Orham Common, and up to 3 potential breeding territories along the mill stream. Singing birds were also recorded on Broadsmere Common and at Wantley, whilst in May a report came in of 4 birds around the Ashurst Bines Bridge area. It's an alarming thought that this very small number is an important population nationally, and it looks possible that the numbers in 2020 have unfortunately reduced. But we only know that because the people of Henfield have been out surveying them
So important.
and publishing it.
So important.
So, Debbie, thank you very much for sending that. Thanks, Ben, for your publications.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting down with a slice of lemon drizzle cake that will be eaten by dogs and some... Do you know what? The one good thing about these poodles at the moment is they don't drink hot chocolate. At least I've got that to
They eat
myself.
all your food.
They've eaten all of the lentil chips.
Yeah, they're all gone.
And as for drizzle cake, I mean, honestly,
They're a nightmare.
the
for
minute
drizzle
you crack
cake.
the cake tin open,
They become, like werewolves. It's like they've these nice, cute, poodly things. The moment there's lemon drizzle cake, they just become these kind of insidious monsters.
they're zesty. That's
They
why
become a zesty monster.
they like the zest.
They love the
They're
zest.
zesty things.
They go
poodles.
mad for the zest. Coming up next week, what have we got?
What have we got next week? We've got Matthew Gould. You know Matthew.
Yeah, Matt Gould. So he's a friend of mine. I've got a funny story to tell you about Matt Gould. He's a fantastic filmmaker. He does his own YouTube channel, and he's made a film for us that we'll be showing next week. And I've got a funny story about when I met him at about 5 a.m. in the middle of the morning in a dark car park in the middle of nowhere.
Is it funny or is it inappropriate?
Bit of both.
Okay. We've also got Neville Ungamani, who's coming up next week, who's a very accomplished photographer. It's not... Paul Goldstein goes for beauty and interest, and he's a sort of classical photographer, but Neville is a man on a mission. His photography centres around conveying sometimes quite harsh, difficult conservation issues, and he lives in South Africa, and there's all sorts of poaching and things going on, so he will be presenting another side of photography to us, a challenging side, but if you don't see it, you don't know it's happening, and you won't do anything about it. And photography as a tool in conservation cannot be underestimated.
Exactly. So it'd be a great thing to catch up with next week, but we do have an announcement to make. Very important announcement. Of course, we've been coming to you live at 6 p.m. Now, spring, last week it was tiptoeing in. This week it's jogging in. By next week, I'm gonna say it's spring.
Are you?
Yeah, no, I'm just excited for it. I'm just excited. So to make the most of the glorious sunshine that we're having, we're going to be changing the time of our broadcast. So instead of doing it at 6 p.m, we will be coming live to you on Sunday at 9 a.m. So we'll be switching back to a morning broadcast, which is the slot that we used to do. Just to make the most of the glorious sunshine and the birds.
And the birds will be singing, we hope. And
birds will be singing, and we'll make the most of some lovely sunshine and some spring. So 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. next week.
Not 6 o'clock.
Not 6 o'clock.
9 a.m.
No, 9 a.m. We'll be there at 9 a.m. next
We'll be
Sunday.
Up early, outside. Yes. I can't wait. I haven't liked doing them indoors.
No.
I so much prefer it outside. You can always just see something going on. We've had to become preoccupied by, sort of semi-savoury snacks.
Yeah.
Whereas normally we'd be like, I'd just be looking at what's going on around here,
Well, next time we'll be outside.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go back to Pennsylvania, I think, for our cardinal bird feeder. Would be great if the Gynandrome Morph dropped in.
Oh, we love a Gynandrome Morph.
It's interesting stuff, isn't it? Now, we didn't get into explaining exactly what... Oh, hold on, sapsucker in the foreground. Look at that. Wow.
I like your pronunciation of that. Sapsucker.
In the foreground.
Oh.
I know, there's some sparkling birds on that feeder, aren't
good,
they?
Isn't it? Of course, you can keep an eye on this yourselves as well.
Yeah.
You can go to Be a Birdwatcher on YouTube and see this. And keep an eye on it throughout the course of the week.
There's cardinals everywhere.
Yeah, it's a sprinkling of cardinals.
There's 2 females there, 2 males.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, isn't it? Sapsucker. So good. Yeah, we didn't explain Gynandrome Morph because it's quite complex. So you can always look that up online.
Half male, half female,
to get to the sort of genetical basis. Yeah. Basically, it's where 2 sperms get in at the same time and fertilise 2. I tell you what, let's leave it. If I start going
we'll be here for another half an hour.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Yeah, when you start going off on it, I was like, oh dear.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
maybe next week.
I'll be quiet and let you look up Gynandrome Morphism on online. Okay, see you next week, 9 o'clock.
Have a good week, everyone.
We'll
Stay safe. Enjoy the sunshine.
It's just the dregs of the packet here.
I'm so hungry.
You've eaten the whole lot, Nancy.
Bye, everyone.